Greetings everyone, my name is Anna. I hope you're all doing well. Today we have a haul video, and for once it's not a library haul because I don't have access to my library and I miss being able to go there and pick up books and peruse the aisles, but I decided to buy some physical books, which I actually don't usually do. I think I've probably mentioned it before, but I only tend to buy books that I know I'm going to reread. So I've read it before from the library and I really liked it, so I'm gonna add it to my collection. So there are definitely some books I need to go through and get rid of on my shelf at the moment. But I picked up quite a few and I'm hoping that I'm gonna have some variety to read through. I did also pick up the backlist, pretty much the entire backlist of one author. So I will go through that once I get into it. So I've kind of separated up this video into different mediums. I've got the audio books that I've picked up from my Audible. I've also got the Kindle copies that I picked up because I tend to forget about the ones I buy from Kindle and then I forget I own them and then I never end up reading them. So if I do hauls in the future, I don't really do them very often, but if I do, I want to start including the Kindle editions that I pick up because that way I won't forget if I actually own them. And then I also have the physical copies as well that are behind me that you can see. So I will start off with the audiobooks that I picked up. For the audiobooks, I don't have too many. I only have two that I've recently picked up. First one is Beach Read by Emily Henry. This one has been doing the rounds on BookTube and romance BookTube as well because people have really been talking up this one. So I decided to pick up the audiobook because I had a random credit and I didn't really know what to do with it. So this one centers around two authors who both write different genres. One is romance, one is literary fiction. They're both staying at a cabin somewhere, and from what I'm understanding, they were rivals and they decided to switch genres and see who can get their book published first. And that's pretty much all I know about it. So far, all I've heard is good about this book. So it's going to be a fun one to just listen on audio. I don't know if it would be one that I would read physically, which is why I just gave it a go on the audiobook and I couldn't find a copy anywhere else. Now I have The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. I got the audiobook because I wanted to pick up the physical book, but the paperback isn't out yet. It's coming out next year. I've discussed my thoughts on publishers doing this before. I don't like it, and I'm not gonna buy the hardback. So here I am waiting for the physical paperback to come out next year. But until then, I have the audiobook version of the book. I'm a little bit worried because when I read the short story, I don't really feel like I 100% understood it. It seemed like a very complex one. So I don't know if it is one that would be best to be read as an audiobook. So we will see. So I'll give it a go. I'll delve into it. If I'm not feeling it, I might return it and pick up something else. Now for the Kindle editions of the books I picked up. I first got Kingdom of Souls by Rena Barron. This one it's been on my radar for a while and I haven't got around to it, but then I was locked out of my Scribd account because they have it on the audio version there. So if I'm not feeling it or reading the physical copy, I might switch between the two and see how I feel. This one centers around a young girl who is born into a family with magic or witch doctors, and she doesn't have magic, and from what I'm understanding, she trades something or years of her life to be able to get magic to save children or try and solve a mystery. So that's all I know about this book so far, really. But it has been on my radar for such a long time and I'm finally getting around to reading it. So I'm excited. I'm hoping it's a good time because I keep saying it, I've not been feeling YA for a while, so I don't know if I'm shooting myself in the foot here, but I am optimistic that it's going to be a good one. Now I have Get a Life Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert, which I know is a book, or I guess a series that gets a lot of love from BookTube in general, and I've been really wanting to try Talia Hibbert's books. I did pick up an audiobook or borrowed one from one of these library apps, I can't remember. So I've got one of her self-published books that I'm going to give a go on audio. But I purchased Get a Life Chloe Brown because of the sheer love that it has on BookTube. But I don't really know, I feel like I know a lot about it. All I know is that Chloe Brown suffers from chronic illness. I think she's trying to live in, or like make her life exciting, and she enlists the help of some guy who is kind of sort of an enemy to her. So it might be enemies to lovers, which is a trope I do really live for. So we'll see, but I'm interested to give it a go anyway. At the beginning of this video, I mentioned that I picked up an author's entire backlist, and I've already mentioned one of her books, and that would be N.K. Jemisin. So I've got pretty much every single book she has ever written. I didn't pick up her, I can't remember what the comic book is called. I didn't pick that up because I prefer graphic novel style bind-ups. I don't really buy comic books, so having the single editions wasn't really of interest to me. So hopefully those comic books are bound up one day and I'll pick those up. But I will go into the physical books from her that I picked up. I've got the Dream Blood duology. So we've got The Killing Moon and also The Shadowed Sun. These two are probably the books I know least about from her. I just know that in this world, magic is collected from people's dreams, and that's it. That's pretty much all I know. But I just know that from that alone, Jemisin is going to weave a magical and beautiful world. So very excited to give this a go. Now another series from N.K. Jemisin. We have the Inheritance trilogy, which has the 100,000 Kingdoms, the Broken Kingdoms, and also the Kingdom of Gods. This was on my list of fantasy series I wanted to get to this year. So I'm really excited to have physical copies of this series so I can get stuck into it pretty soon. I think I'm probably just gonna like blast through and read a Jemisin book a month because I'm really enjoying my reread of the 5th season right now. But Tolani recently read this and she really recommended these books, or at least the first one. So I'm very excited to get stuck into this. From what I understand from the synopsis, it's based around a girl who gets called up to this kingdom, which I think she is like royalty or something along those lines. And there are trapped gods within this society, and she strikes up a deal to free them. So again, sounds like a wonderful web that Jemisin is going to weave, and I'm here for it. And lastly, we have How Long Till Black Future Month, which I believe is a collection of short stories. So I'll probably read a story here and there just when I need to get my Jemisin fix. There was one book I had forgotten I picked up, so I grabbed it from my shelf. I picked up a couple of weeks ago, well, at least a few weeks ago, and that's Binti by Nnedi Okorafor. This one is set in space, so I think it might be science fiction and fantasy as well. And I think she is going to some sort of space school. I'm not really sure I remember what the premise is of this one, but this one is always talked up really highly, so I wanted to give this a go because Nnedi Okorafor is a new to me author and this is one of her most talked about series. Now I have another Nnedi Okorafor book. I've got Who Fears Death, which is a post-apocalyptic book, I believe, which I'm always here for. I don't know why I like these kinds of books, I just do. This one centers around a woman who is wandering a desert and something happens to her, and then the book takes off from there, from what I understand. I was kind of going to read out the synopsis, but I don't know if it might be triggering to some people, so I will kind of leave that out. But it does sound like it will be a really interesting and perhaps sad read. I don't know, but it seems like there's going to be magic in this world. Whether or not it's from one person or it's just a standard thing to have magic, I don't know. We'll find out once I read it. I do know that it's on Scribd as an audiobook, I think, so I might also flip between reading it physically or also reading the audiobook as well. This one was an impulse buy, so I literally don't know anything about this, but I follow Holly, who I don't think she makes videos, but I know that she is, like, she tweets a lot, so I follow her on Twitter, and this book comes from her publisher. So she was like talking about this on Twitter. I saw Nigerian, I saw paranormal romance, and that's really all I needed to pick it up. So I don't know what it's about. It's pretty short. It's by Eru Kome-Yellow, and I'm intrigued to see what it's about. From what I think, there's a nurse, there's a romance, and that's all I have, but we'll see how it goes. It's an independently published book, so we're supporting small publishers and we're giving new books a go. This book, I haven't even mentioned the name of the book. It's called Dusk or Dorsk. I'm not 100% sure. But either way, we're going to give it a go and see how we like it. I have a book from another new to me author. It's Beast Made of Night by Tochi Onyebuchi. This was another book that was on my books I want to read, or fantasy books I want to read in 2020 list. So finally getting around to picking this up. This one is around, the concept sounds really interesting. First of all, again, it's another sort of Nigerian fantasy setting, which, as you might be able to tell, I'm always here for. And I think we have characters here who, they kill these beasts. I think they're called sin eaters, and when they do so, a tattoo of the sin appears on their body, which is a process that usually drives people mad. But this character, I guess he's able to override that. I don't know. I think he goes to try and eat the sin of a royal prince, and then the story takes off from there. Again, very, very intrigued to get stuck into this one. And this is another one that Tolani has raved about. She really enjoys it. And we do have very similar taste in books. So I wanted to give this one a go again. But it was already on my list anyway, but it kind of bumped up my TBR once she was talking about this one. I forgot about one, so I'm quickly going to insert it into this video. But I also actually picked up Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. It was actually perfect timing because it coincides with the start of the Octavia E. Butler slow read along that I think Injuri has posted about on its pages. So I will leave her announcement, and I think there was also, Musical Tati also did an announcement video. So I will link those two videos below if you would be interested in doing the slow read along. It's perfect for me because I am a very slow reader, and I've really been wanting to get into Octavia Butler's books, so this is a perfect opportunity for me to give it a go. But Kindred is around a woman who gets thrown back into the past, so she time travels back in time, and it's to the antebellum South, I think, and it goes from there. So that's pretty much what I know about it. She ends up on a plantation and she's trying to run for her life. Sounds really fascinating, and I know that this is one of her works that gets spoken about a lot, and I know that somebody also like a while ago recommended it to me to read. So again, has been on my list. Like, this whole haul has been books that I've been wanting to get to forever, just never got round to, so I finally just like coughed up the money and paid for the books. Lastly, I have one that has actually been a long time coming, and I'm really excited. I don't know why I'm so excited to get back into this one, but it's a reread of the Noughts and Crosses series. I think there are 5 books in total in this series, but I've only read the first one, and it was a really, really long time ago. So US viewers, please let me know if you have heard of the Noughts and Crosses series, because it's a British series. The author is Mallory Blackman. She's really prolific here. I feel like it's a series, if you haven't read it, you at least have heard about it here. So really interested to see if Americans have heard of this series before. But it's set in this alternate world, alternate Britain, where Black people are the ruling class. So Black people have the power and white people don't. So it's kind of a switched roles series. When I read the first book, which is just Noughts and Crosses, I read it many, many years ago. I absolutely loved it. And I got it from my library when I was in school. So I don't think I continued because the other book wasn't there, and I just like forgot about it over the years. But recently the BBC has done an adaptation of it, and I wanted to reread the series, or at least like finish the series before the TV show came out. I didn't do that, but I still want to get round to it so I can watch the TV show. I'll leave the trailer below. I haven't watched the trailer because I kind of just want to go into the series, like imagine everyone myself. But I will leave that below if you are curious to get sort of a quick view of what the overall series is about. Very excited to get stuck into Noughts and Crosses. I only picked up the first 2 just in case nostalgia blinds me or has blinded me and I don't enjoy it. Then I've only bought 2, and if I do really enjoy the second book, then obviously I'll pick up the rest of the series. But I'm really excited. I can't even begin to tell you how I am excited to get back into this series. So folks, those are all of the books that I've recently picked up. Do let me know if there are any that kind of pique your interest and you want a dedicated review on. Then I will try and like make notes or remember to do all that stuff so I can review the book for you. But that is it from me. If you enjoyed that video, please feel free to give the like button some love, and if you would like to see more content from myself, then you are more than welcome to go ahead and subscribe. So I will see you all in my next video. Bye.